Podcast Network. This is the Lifestyle Live Podcast.
Faces you know and a team you can trust. Stories that form your heart. Lifestyle Live. Lifestyle Live.
Who knew a pair of shoes could be so powerful? On this Lifestyle Live podcast episode, Samaritan's Feet International is celebrating a historic milestone as it marks its 20th year as a humanitarian aid organization. Here is more on the mission, the significance of washing feet, and providing shoes to those in need. This is the Lifestyle Live podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Lifestyle Live. Lifestyle Live.
Joining us now are Todd Mello from Samaritan's Feet and Amy Arnell from Republic Airway. And we are celebrating changing the lives of 10 million people all over the world. Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to start by talking a little bit about this organization. What is Samaritan's Feet?
So Samaritan's Feet was started in 2003, Kayla, to put 10 million shoes on the feet of 10 million children in 10 years. Started by an organization by a man named Manny Ahome and his wife Tracy. Manny didn't have shoes until the age of 9 years old, grew up in Nigeria, Africa, carrying water on top of his head, right? And then he went back for his dad's funeral. He was living the American dream, 4 kids, right? Great job, wife, all that. And went back to his dad's funeral back in Nigeria and saw all those little boys and girls in the park where he used to play with no shoes and socks. Did research and figured out there's over 300 million children who wake up every day without a pair of shoes to put on his feet. And so Manny and his wife Tracy started the organization in 2003, left his corporate job to do that. And so, yeah.
I love that goal. It's such a big goal, and it's been reached.
Yeah.
Amy, talk a little bit about this partnership.
So we've partnered at Republic Airways with Samaritan's Feet for about 6 to 7 years now, and each year our employees go out and serve children around Indianapolis area, and we've been able to do the same with our associates and really put hope and smiles on these children's faces, which is so gratifying, and especially the hope part and the story behind Samaritan's Feet. It aligns with our mission and our guiding principles at Republic Airways, and we're very honored to support Samaritan's Feet in their mission.
Let's talk about that 10 millionth recipient. What was that like? Just describe it.
Well, it was incredible. I worked for the organization for 8 years, and just to watch that and to be able to talk about that for so long and to finally see it come to culmination was just priceless. It was a great celebration. I had actually had my moment the night before at the gala when we were trying to raise money for the South Africa group there. I was by myself, and I was on the platform there looking out on the blue water, and I just had that moment of like, wow, like tomorrow we're going to deliver the 10 million shoe. And so then in that moment of just watching, Zayden, who was the 10 millionth recipient, walk down there and just imagining that being Manny, right, receiving his very first pair of shoes, knowing that probably 200 million hands probably touched those shoes, from distributors to donors to warehouse workers to the manufacturers, all those people, and watch over 100,000 people, volunteers, in 48 states, across 109 different countries, Kayla. So think about that. It's just incredible just to watch that. And so it was that climax. It was almost like that movie, But the mission and the organization continues on today. In fact, Amy and her group are going to Honduras in a couple weeks. So.
And that was going to be my next question. What's next? What's the new goal, if you will?
Just to continue the mission, right? Continues, like I said, over 300 million children. They wake up every day and their shoes wear out. And so it's not just a matter of the organization reached its goal. It's about continuing that, because it's about building that culture, especially even with Republic, building that culture. She has, 60 or 70 people going with them to Honduras coming up. So it's building that culture within organizations, to servant leader culture.
What do you think made this such a success? I'm sure a lot of people out there want to start something that they're passionate about to help others, but what does it take to really take something off the ground and do it?
a lot of times it's dreaming big, and that's what Manny did from the very beginning. Dream big and do something, set a goal that only God can create, that only God can accomplish. And Manny would be the first, and Tracy both would be the first one to say, without God, that's not possible to reach 10 million people. And to your point, it's such a lofty goal that no one can take credit except for God. And so to dream big, and then to incorporate and to work hard. Manny and Tracy work tirelessly along with the staff and the entire volunteers to make that happen. And it takes amazing partners like Republic Airways to make that happen as well.
Thank you so much for joining us. Such an important mission. I love it. We'll have all that information on lifestylelive.tv if you want to get involved.
Lifestyle Live. Lifestyle Live.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Lifestyle Live Podcast. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And connect for even more on Facebook and at lifestylelive.tv.
Faces you know and a team you can trust. Stories that form your heart.